Right, here we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Food as Medicine, the skinny on healthy vegan fats, sponsored by the Black Veg Society and presented by TrueSelf, TotalHealth. That would be me. If you've been here before, you know how we roll. It's a very energetic, energized class, lots of engagement, a lively discussion. If you've taken time to come today or any of our webinars, we don't take that for granted. So I want to just say kudos to you for taking the time to invest in you and your health and wellness. And as always, my commitment to you is to provide you with a content-rich presentation in a format that's easy to understand and interactive. I hope to provide you with something that you just can't get on Google or Dr. Oz. So I always like to introduce a little surprise. And I hope at the end that you learned something that you couldn't just find on the internet. I hope to also demystify and debunk some things about fat. So also I want you to know, I know how frustrating it can be to come to a program like this that's content rich and get really great information and then say, well, what do I do with it? What do I do next? Well, no worries. We're going to provide you with some information and resources so that if you want to implement change, we'll have the tools and resources and always a Q&A at the end to guide you and to give you a jump start. A few housekeeping issues. We're going to answer the questions at the end of the presentation. So we want to keep a good flow. This is going to be put on YouTube for your friends that may not have been able to make it. About 135 of you registered. We want to make sure that they get an opportunity to hear a clean presentation. But you can post your questions in the chat as we go along, or ask to speak by using the raised hand icon at the end of the presentation. Now, we ask that everybody remain muted to eliminate distractions during the presentation. If not, our lovely assistant here today, Jamie, will mute you in case you are distracted and you forget to do that. If you have not already done so, and I'm getting ready to do it now, please turn off your devices so that you're not distracted by pinging. And I just did that. Okay. All right, so another housekeeping issue. We invite you to complete a short survey, as always, at the end of the webinar. Everyone who completes this survey will receive a free 1-year subscription to a vegetarian journal and an African plate recipe. It is a shameless way to bribe you to give us some feedback because we really love to hear from you. We know you give it to us anyway, but we're giving you a little reward for doing that. We like to hear glows and grows. So if there's something that you think we can do better, we're always open for that. Stay to the end and you're going to receive a link for immediate access to an essential fatty acids evaluation self-assessment that hopefully will open up some awareness as to some changes you might want to make, or I like to call them oil change in your diet. And let's see what else. Finally, everyone who registered, all of you who registered will be eligible to participate in a raffle drawing to win a vegan lifestyle book, Vegans Know How to Party, by Chef Nancy Burkhoff. Now, the book contains over 465 vegan recipes, which includes desserts, appetizers, main dishes, and more. The winner will be notified via email and listed in the follow-up blog. So it's lots of valuable information just to show our appreciation for you being here and investing time. And hopefully you'll learn something that you can apply. All right, so let's move on. Food is medicine. I love this quote. If you follow me, you know I show this all the time. The beauty of food is medicine is that the choice to heal and promote health can begin as soon as the next meal. So food, not food like substances, but food is either nourishing the body or breaking it down. There is no neutral effect. So what you eat either improves your health or depletes it. Real, whole, minimally processed food, not food like substances, provide nutrients to support our mental and physical health. Nutrient insufficiencies and deficiencies are the root cause of disease, discomfort, dissatisfaction with the way you look and feel, and can impact the functioning of every system in your body. So nutrition, not just nutrition, but other lifestyle practices will give you what conventional medicine simply won't or can't. A way to get well, not just feel better. And I hope that this will provide you with a little bit of confidence that you can control your health one bite at a time. All right, so we're gonna go to the next slide. All right, so I'm gonna talk a little bit about me now. My name is Tony St. Clair, and I'm excited to be your host for this webinar. I'm a functional health coach. I'm a nutritional endocrinology coach and educator. I'm a personal and professional development coach. I'm a raw food chef and instructor, and I'm a yoga instructor. Now, before I go on to just talk more about me, I also want to introduce our co-host today, the beautiful Jamie. She'll wave. You'll see that beautiful background that she has. She's going to keep us straight. Mute if we need to be muted. She'll answer questions for us. She's just going to make sure that she's the people wrangler for all of us, basically. And we're happy to have her join us. And she will provide you with her Black Veg email address in case after the webinar you need to contact us for something. Okay, so again, a little bit about me. I've been the proud owner and CEO of TrueSelf Total Health for about 10 years, assisting and guiding people who have forgotten or perhaps have never learned how to stay healthy and balanced in their minds, their bodies, and their spirits. Among other things, I help people to detoxify their bodies and their minds, learn how to eat healthy foods, and improve their overall health and wellness. So I'm a behavioral change expert. So I help my clients bridge the gap between where they are and where they want to be. And I focus on lifestyle changes and mindset or lifestyle practices, because sometimes we're looking for the exotic and we forget that it's the basic lifestyle practices that will get us where we need to go. As I said earlier, I'm a functional health coach and wellness coach on the healthcare team at Capital Integrative Health in Bethesda, Maryland. I'm proud to be on that care team. We are there changing lives and helping people with not just conventional medicine, but mostly complementary care. So we like to get to the root cause. So if you find that you need an integrative practice to help you, I'm there to support you. So all that I just said to you is just to tell you that I have the background, the training, and the education to do this little presentation. That's it. And if you have any doubts about that, I hope I will dispel them as we go along. All right, disclaimer. Super important that you read this disclaimer. It is in legalese, but if you don't want to read it, I will highlight the two things I want you to see. This presentation is meant to be educational only. It's a sharing of information based on my experience and training or the experience of experts that I rely on. Number two, it's not intended as medical advice. So I'm not treating, curing, diagnosing any condition or illness. So if you have a condition that requires medical attention, don't substitute this little program for that, okay? And if you decide you want to make a change based on something that you've heard, please share it with a qualified healthcare practitioner so that you can stay safe, okay? Bottom line, I'm not practicing medicine without a license because the state of Maryland frowns on that. All right, now, let's talk about what you can expect to learn. You can expect to learn that all fats are not created equally. Maybe you know that, I don't know, so it might be a review for some of you. You'll learn the health benefits of essential fatty acids, some do's and don'ts to balance essential fatty acids, some subtle and not so subtle signs and symptoms of essential fatty acid deficiency, and some plant-based foods rich in essential fatty acids. You see the theme here? Fatty acids. And some top vegan supplements. So both vegan and vegetarian diets are becoming more and more popular. Some of you may be here because you're already vegan and vegetarian. Some of you may be curious, but some of you may be wanting to convert to veganism or vegetarianism and you want to stay safe. So whatever your reason is, there are many unique reasons people might choose to adopt this lifestyle, from preventing cruelty to animals, environmental consideration, or simply looking to improve your health by losing weight or maybe reducing the risk of some chronic disease that you may be fighting. Vegan and vegetarian diets can be healthy for anyone of any age, including children, pregnant and lactating women, and the elderly. Poorly constructed diets, however, if you convert to this lifestyle, might predispose individuals to certain nutrient deficiencies. And this is why we do these food as medicine classes, to keep you safe. So if you're following a vegan or vegetarian diet or thinking to do so, there's some must-have nutrients and supplements that you should factor in. However, this presentation is only going to focus on healthy vegan fats. We have other recordings that we've done on nutrition that you can pick up from our YouTube channel. And I, of course, don't have the link, but Jamie may be able to find it for us later. Okay. All right. Moving right along. It won't advance. There we go. It's not advancing. There we go. So I'm not sure what my computer is doing here. It won't advance. There we go. Importance of fats in the body. So you probably already know this if you've had, high school biology or chemistry, but we're just going to go over it again. That the fats are super important in the body. It's a macronutrient, and therefore it's important for healthy functioning of your body, like other macronutrients like protein and carbohydrates. So it can be an area of confusion. And even I know some people fear fat. I know in the 80s and the 90s, I know I'm aging myself. I was one of those people that feared fat, right? It affected my health big time. And there might be some confusion about fat, like, oh my gosh, if I eat that avocado, it's gonna, it's gonna turn to cholesterol and it's gonna be saturated. And yeah, something paused. So my screen sharing paused. Okay, I'm gonna resume the share. I'm not sure what happened here.
I can still see it.
Okay, I'm not sure why it said it paused. Okay. If everybody can see, that's good. So there are fat-soluble vitamins, A, D, E, and K, that will absorb better when fat is consumed with them. So for example, the vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants in kale will absorb better when dietary fat is available. However, if you focus on eating balanced meals with a little bit of fat, you won't have to worry about trying to come up with the formula. But here, let's talk about some of the other the important factors of fats in the body. More than half the dry weight of the brain is fat. 60% of the fat of the brain is fat and weights. 25% of the body's cholesterol is in the brain. Cholesterol is the precursor of steroid hormones like your sex, adrenals, and regulation of blood pressure. Fat's important for immune system and inflammation. It's important for hair and skin. The myelin sheaths are fat. Those are the things that surround your nerves. And the cell membranes are mostly fat. So that's why it's important. I'm going to try to advance to the next slide, and I hope it does it because it says it's paused. I'm not sure what's happening. It's not moving. It's not advancing. Did it advance? Okay, good. And you all can still hear me? All right, here we go. We're not going to let this bother us. All right. Technology is wonderful when it works, and when it doesn't, not so wonderful. So let's talk about fats. All fats are not created equally. Again, this may be a review for some of you. It may be new information for others. So I'm just going to do a quick review. So let's talk about the good, the bad, and the in-between of fats. So the good fats are the unsaturated fats. The bad fats are the trans fats, and the in-between fats are the saturated fats. And that's where it gets a little murky and people get a little confused. So I hope to clear that up. The good, the bad, and in between. So you want to obviously avoid the trans fats. You might want to limit the saturated fats, and you want to eat an abundance or sufficient amount for your body of mono or polyunsaturated fats. So I'm going to discuss the health benefits of each of these as we move forward, assuming that my computer will work for me. It's not advancing. I'm not sure why. There we go. So let's talk about trans fat. This is the bad. So trans fats are a form of unsaturated fat. And there are two types, natural and artificial. And there are absolutely no health benefits of artificial trans fats, none. And the jury is out on whether or not natural saturated fats that come from some animals are good for, or natural forms of trans fats are good too. The jury's still out on that. And then FDA's, you probably know this, the FDA banned trans fats, and it went into effect on June 18, 2018. So let's talk a little bit more about this. Trans fats, again, are a form of unsaturated fats, and we talked about the two types, the natural and artificial. Now, natural trans fats are formed by bacteria in the stomach of cattle and sheep and goats. These trans fats make up about 3 to 7% of the total fat in dairy products, such as milk and cheese, 3 to 10% in beef and lamb, and just 2% in chicken and pork. On the other hand, artificial trans fats are chemicals, right? They're mainly formed during something called hydrogenation, a process in which hydrogen is added to vegetable oil to form a semi-solid product known as hydrogenated oil. There are absolutely no health benefits to these artificial trans fats. Eating foods rich in trans fats increases the amount of harmful or the lousy LDL, so I call it lousy LDL cholesterol in the bloodstream, and reduces the amount of the happy or the good cholesterol, the HDL. Trans fats also create inflammation, lots of inflammation, and inflammation is linked to heart disease, stroke, diabetes, and other chronic conditions. They contribute to insulin resistance, which increases the risk of developing type 2 diabetes. And even small amounts of trans fats can harm your health. So for every 2% of your calories that comes from trans fats, your risk of heart disease goes up 23%. So we're glad that the FDA banned these trans fats, but there is a caveat. You still need to be careful. So I'm going to talk about that in the next slide. So there are still some vegan foods that may contain trans fats. Well, if you eat whole, minimally processed organic plant foods, you're going to avoid these artificial and natural trans fats. But I have supported many junk food vegans. These are people that eat processed food. They love the animals, but they don't love themselves as much as the animals, and they're eating a bunch of crap. So when they do that, they're compromising their health and they're exposing themselves to harmful artificial trans fats that are hidden in processed food. So if you eat processed food, you've got to check the labels. No, so as discussed in the previous slide, although trans fats were banned in 2018, anything manufactured before this date can still be distributed January 2020 through 2021. So there might be some still floating out there. So here's the list. Vegetable shortening. So vegetable shortening, probably y'all have heard of it, is used in cooking and baking. It can be difficult to tell if shortening is completely free of trans fats. So as companies are allowed, and here's the dishonesty here, companies are allowed to list 0 trans fats, but still have a half a gram. And remember what I told you, if you have 2% of your trans fats in your body, your risk of heart disease goes up 23%. Some varieties of microwave popcorn also contain trans fats. So if you prefer microwavable varieties, choose brands and flavors that don't contain partially hydrogenated oil. Or alternatively, you could just make your own popcorn on top of the stove or an air popper. So I don't know if people still eat the bag popcorn, but if you are, I'm just wanting you to be aware, trans fats are just nasty. I just want you to stay safe. And let's talk about certain margarines and vegetable oils that contain trans fats. So fortunately, trans fat-free margarine is increasingly available. I still am not a big fan of margarine. That's obviously a chemical. But they've been phased out with the trans fats. However, keep in mind that some non-hydrogenated vegetable oils may still contain a little bit of trans fat. So there were 2 studies that analyzed vegetable oils, including canola, soybean, and corn. I hate all 3 of those. And they found that 0.4 to 4.2% of the total fat content in those oils was trans fats. Got to be careful, read the labels, or better still, leave that stuff alone. Yeah, not good. So you just want to avoid those products altogether and just use a healthier version of oil like extra virgin olive oil or coconut oil. All right, so now let's talk about fried fast foods. Again, I work with junk food vegans and they have lived on this. Fried fast foods such as French fries and noodles are often cooked in vegetable oils, which may have some trans fats, and the trans fat concentration increases every time the oil is reused. So be mindful of that when you go out and you get your fast food. Now, it can be hard to avoid trans fats from fried food, so you're better off limiting your intake of fried food altogether. It's just not healthy anyway. Now let's talk about bakery products, such as muffins and cakes and pastries and donuts. They're often made with vegetable shortening or margarine. Today, as manufacturers reduce the trans fats in their shortening and margarine, the total amount of trans fats in baked goods, it's declined. We talked about that, right? However, you can't assume that all baked goods are free of trans fats. It's important to read the labels. Read the labels. Please read the labels where possible and avoid pastries that contain partially hydrogenated oils. Better still, make your own and you don't have to worry about that, right? And then we're going to talk about non-dairy creamers. Now, they're also known as coffee whiteners. They're used as a substitute for milk or cream in coffee, tea, and other hot beverages. Now, most non-dairy creamers were traditionally made from partially hydrogenated oil in order to increase the shelf life, obviously, and maybe provide some creamy consistency. However, many brands have gradually reduced trans fats in the recent years. But to avoid trans fats from these products, select non-dairy varieties without partially hydrogenated oil, such as plant-based creamers like almond or coconut or cashew, which they're really delicious. Or sometimes they combine the two and you can get the same creaminess without all the nasty trans fats that cause inflammation and may cause you to recycle early. Okay, so now we're gonna, other sources are, you wanna watch out for trans fats in some brands of potato chips, crackers, pies, pizza, and even canned frosting. Hopefully you guys are eating more natural whole foods, but in case you are, remember that even if the product lists 0 grams of trans fat, the manufacturers are allowed to have 1/2 a gram and still show it as 0. So check the labels, and better still, just stay away from packaged food until after 2021 and you'll be a little safer. Okay, we beat that to pieces. All right, let's talk about saturated fats. Now, saturated fats, you're probably aware of this, are found in meats and byproducts of meat, like cheeses and all that and eggs. It triggers the body to produce more cholesterol. That's what meat does. And it also increases your risk of heart disease because of the inflammation that comes with that cholesterol. Now, there are saturated fats found in 2 plant products, and that would be coconut and palm oil. But I want you to know that these are medium chain fatty acids. That's different than long chain fatty acids. So they're processed differently in the body. They raise your happy cholesterol, your HDL, because they're processed differently in the body. And they have many health benefits in fatty acids. So the most common and noteworthy benefit for coconut oil, you probably already know about this, is that it has antimicrobial effects. Lauric acid makes up about 50% of the fatty acids in coconut oil. So when your body digests the lauric acid, it forms a substance called monolaurin. Jamie, you trying to get my attention? Oh, sorry. I'll call monolaurin. That both lauric acid and monolaurin can kill harmful pathogens such as bacteria, viruses, and funguses. So, it does have saturated fat, but again, it processes in the body differently, and it's really used for energy because it doesn't have to be processed the way other fats have. It can be used directly for energy. And palm oil, which I haven't used, I'm not a big fan of it, is 100% fat, half of which is saturated, but it contains vitamin E, and red palm oil also has a lot of antioxidants called carotenoids, which helps with your vision. And it's food. I think it's palm oil that is used in some African dishes. I'm not sure, but I just wanted to show the distinction really in the saturated fat, so you won't fear a little bit of saturated fat that's in these 2 plant-based products, because they just function differently in the body. All right, so now we're going to move on. My computer is not cooperating. There we go. Let's talk about polyunsaturated fats. We've done the good, we've done the in between, the bad, we've done the in between. Now we're going to do the good. So polyunsaturated fats, and there are 2 types. So the essential fats, and they must be obtained from the diet. So these are called essential because your body can't produce them. You have to get it from food. So the omega-3 EFAs are ALA, and then downstream EPA and DHA. So the omega fatty acid is actually ALA, but it's transformed from ALA to EPA to DHA. And as they go downstream, they do different things for the body. Omega-6 EFAs, the omega-6 fatty acid is LA, linoleic acid. These all have very long names. And so I'm just using the initials. And they get downstream to GLA, DGLA, and AA. So that's kind of the science of that. So now, again, because these are essential fatty acids, your body can't produce it. The only way you can get it is from food or maybe supplementation. The daily requirement for ALA is about 2 grams, and the daily requirement for LA is 3 grams. Now, while omega-3s are anti-inflammatory to the body, which is why we need to make sure we have a sufficient amount of that, omega-6s are pro-inflammatory. You might think, wow, that's not a good thing, but it is, because your body's natural response to an injury is inflammation. So you want to make sure that you have enough of those fatty acids so your body can register something happen and begin the process of repair. It becomes a problem when it's not acute, but it's chronic. And so that's why it's important to have both pro-inflammatory essential fatty acids and anti-inflammatory essential fatty acids. We'll talk about the balancing act later. All right. All right, let's talk about the health benefits of omega-3 fatty acids. Fights autoimmune disease, it combats anxiety, it improves risk factors of heart disease, it improves the skin. Who doesn't want great skin? Omega-6s have been known to reduce nerve pain, reduce blood pressure, support bone health, and also support brain health. These are critical to have in the diet if you want to be healthy. And I know you do because you're here. All right, let's talk about omega-3 in a little bit more detail. So omega-3 fats and where they are abundant in leafy green vegetables, flax seeds, chia seeds, hemp seeds, and certain types of algae, also known as seaweed. Also, smaller amounts of omega-3 fatty acids can be found in fruits and non-green vegetables, fruits like oranges and non-green vegetables like cauliflower. 1 heaping tablespoon of chia seeds, just one, or 1 level tablespoon of flaxseed can provide the entire daily requirement of omega-3 fatty acids. Don't need much, but you need it. Also, beans like kidney, black, pinto, navy, etc., also contain ALA, because remember, ALA is the fatty acid and it downstreams to the others, it converts. Consuming beans may be particularly helpful for individuals on a vegan or vegetarian diet so they can increase their dietary intake of omega-3 fatty acids without maybe increasing a bunch of fat, if that's an issue for you, or overt fats. Okay. I love this picture because it really demonstrates where you can get all your omega-3 fatty acids. Look at that. You can get it from a little bit of fruit, from melons, from nuts and seeds, from spinach. They're just varying degrees of how you're going to get it. So just a little science for you. Every plant food has a fat, a carb, right? And a protein. It's just that some have more protein or some have more fat or some have more carbs. So the ratio is going to be different for each of these plants, but they do contain sources of omega-3 fatty acids. So if you don't want to consume a lot of overt fats, you just have to make sure that you consume enough of the leafy greens, and we'll talk about that later, to get what you need and to stay healthy. But, all right. Move right along. So we're going to talk about the good sources. I kind of talked about that earlier. Leafy green vegetables are 10% of the calories are from fat, but 60 to 70% of the fat is omega-3. How about that? Yeah. Fruit and non-green vegetables, 5% of the calories are fat. The membranes contain less ALA in fruits and non-green vegetables, but both EFAs are present, the omega-3s and omega-6s. And flax seeds, obviously 70% of the calories are fat and 58% contains ALA or omega-3 fatty acids. So approximately 150 to 300 calories from leafy greens, depending on the greens, contains 1 gram of ALA, which means you meet half your daily omega fat acid requirement from 300 calories of leafy greens. Yeah. And approximately 1,000 calories from fruit and non-leafy green vegetables contain 1 gram of ALA, which means half your daily requirement of ALA. So and 1 heaping tablespoon, obviously, of flax seeds is going to get you there, right? It's 2 grams of ALA, which meets your entire daily omega-3 fatty acid requirement. Okay. All right. So you can see it's not hard to get it. So now let's talk about omega-6 fatty acids. I have some examples here: walnuts, almonds, avocado, tofu, cashews, quinoa, and of course, vegetable oils. I like to get my oils straight up, not necessarily in the, get my fat straight up. So if you can, instead of olive oil, just eat the olive because once you strip it away from its source, it goes rancid. So that's why they're in the order of priority. And I think vegetable oils have their place, but just for taste, I would, again, try to keep my fats whole. So there are foods that are rich in LA or omega-3 fat, omega-6 fatty acids, and they are nuts and seeds and legumes. And they also have some omega-3s. Now, the difference is the ratio of omega-6 is higher in these than some of the others. So you have to be aware of that as you're balancing your fats. So for example, the almonds that you see there, let's say it's about 1 ounce of almonds, has less than 1 gram of omega-3, but it has 3.4 grams of omega-6. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure you all can still see. If you couldn't see, Jamie would tell me. So I'm just going to move on and hope that my computer cooperates, but there we go. Let's see the balancing act, right? So the ideal ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 fats is between 1:1 to 4:1. Why is that important? Because we talked about that earlier. If you have more omega-6s than omega-3s, then you are pro-inflammatory. And it can cause all kinds of issues in your body. And so that's why it's important that you make sure that you keep that ratio between 1:1 and 4:1. A diet based on fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds, especially one that has an abundance of greens and includes some flax and hemp and chia seeds, provides ample amounts of omega-3 fats without the excess of omega-6 fats. You don't even have to worry about it. And again, while you need to have both, you should be consuming them in relatively equal quantities if you can. Now, I know, admittedly, this is a lot easier said than done, especially if you eat out often or you eat a lot of food that comes prepackaged. Chances are you're consuming upwards of 10 times the amount of omega-6 than recommended. So this is because processed foods just in meals from restaurants are made with vegetable oils, and it's extremely high in omega-6s. So you don't really have control over that. And remember, when we consume in excess of 4 times the amount of omega-6 compared to omega-3, we tend to create excess inflammation, which can contribute to many different health challenges, such as aggravation of arthritis. So if you notice that you're a plant-based eater, vegan, and your arthritis is acting up, you might want to take a look. You might need to do an oil change. And it might also do damage to the blood vessels. So just pay attention to that. Now let's talk about signs and symptoms of essential fatty acid deficiency. If you all have been attending these little webinars that we do monthly, you might have seen this in a nutrient chart assessment. So I just kind of pulled this part out. But you can see there are many, many signs and symptoms of essential fatty acid deficiency, including acne, breast cysts, dandruff, diarrhea, dry skin and hair, eczema, excess earwax, gallstones, hair loss, immune impairment, infertility, liver degeneration, poor wound healing, premenstrual syndrome, sore lips or sores around the mouth, dry lips, split cuticles, and splitting nails. So most people in modern society, they just don't eat enough abundance of leafy greens. Like a salad for most people is like a little, I don't know, saucer. For me, I eat a big bowl. I'm going to take a picture of my salad one day and post it on the Black Veg. And it takes me a good while to eat it, but I want an abundance of leafy greens. So again, most of us in our society, we don't eat an abundance of leafy greens, fresh fruits and vegetables, flaxseed or chia and all those other wonderful omega-3s. So as a result, omega-3 insufficiency is quite common among our population, including those of us who subscribe to the vegetarian or vegan diet, because we don't tend to eat a lot. We're not eating enough greens, or maybe we fear fat, or maybe we're doing too much omega-6 fatty acids. It could be varied. So I'm just curious about how many of these you're experiencing. You don't have to fess up, but just take a look and say, yeah, that sounds like me, and maybe think about doing something different. The lack of omega-3 fatty acids in adults has been linked to cardiovascular disease, stroke, diabetes, high blood pressure, the formation of some types of cancer, Alzheimer's disease, depression, and other common health challenges. The lack of omega-3 fatty acids in infants and children has been linked to a lack of proper development of the nervous system and eyes and behavioral disorders. So I hope you understand these are very important facts indeed. Let's talk about supplements. All right. So I always say food first, supplements second. So if you're getting things from your food, you should be okay. Having said that, some people have digestive issues, right? Or some people just have some issue with eating a certain amount of calories, or there may be something going on where supplementation is required. But again, I always say food first. So here's where you might need to do it. It's estimated that only 10% of the ALA, remember that is the fatty acid, is converted to EPA and DHA. That's the downstream. You still, or go sideways, you still need to have that conversion take place. So research has found that vegans need an extra 6.5 grams of ALA a day to ensure you're getting enough EPA. So if you're not getting it from your diet, for whatever reason, then yes, supplement. And I'll share my favorite supplement later on. Sometimes if you have inflammatory illnesses, or like arthritis or things like that, you may need to up to 10 grams of EPA may be needed. And again, EPA, ALA transforms the EPA. And so if you're not getting, if it's not converting, then you need to potentially do a supplement. But I'm going to say this because I always said it, that consult with your practitioner for more information and guidance on dietary supplements. I'm going to share with you my favorite vegan supplement. I take this one myself. Nordic Naturals Algae Omega, which has EPA and DHA in case ALA is not converting for me. Because there was a time when that wasn't happening because I had some digestive issues, especially with my liver, it wasn't functioning properly. So yeah, that's the only one that I recommend. However, on my affiliate account, FullScript, which I opened up for my patients, my clients, and some of my students to have access to clean supplements, you also get a discount if you go there. But I don't care where you buy it. I just want to make sure that if you need it, you get it. So you can go to your health food store, or you can go to this site. And if what I have is less expensive, feel free to buy it. If it's less expensive to go to your local store, do that. I wouldn't trust Amazon. I don't know the efficacy of what they do. You know, if they get, I don't know. I don't trust Amazon for supplements. I'd rather go directly to places like FullScript and a doctor supplement store because I know of the efficacy of the products, and I know you'll be safe. Okay, now moving right along, we're almost done. So now we're going to really talk about the skinny on healthy vegan fats. This is where the rubber meets the road, where you may recognize, yeah, I thought that, and maybe that's not true. But these are some of the areas that I've discussed over the years in talking to some people who have raw vegan diets and those that don't, and those that are vegan or vegetarian. There's always this debate about fats and carbohydrates, fats and cholesterol and saturated fats, and whether or not these healthy fats actually have cholesterol. So I'm hoping to dispel some of that. So I'm just going to go and read this to you. Saturated fats and cholesterol. Raw fruits and vegetables are naturally low in saturated fat and contain absolutely zero cholesterol, zero. Only animal products and foods that contain animal products contain cholesterol. Contrary to popular belief, coconuts, avocados, nuts, and seeds do not contain any cholesterol. These foods are high in fat for sure, but the fats they contain are healthier than those found in animal products. And in some cases, they're essential to our health. They have some good nutrients in them. Every time we consume any type of fat, our body produces a substance that you may have heard of called bile. Bile is made by the liver, and it's used to break large fat fragments into smaller ones that are easier for the body to digest. The more fat you eat, the more bile your body will make. Hope you all are keeping up. The main ingredient of bile is cholesterol. So the more bile we need, the more cholesterol the liver has to make. A high-fat meal causes the liver to release more cholesterol than a low-fat meal. Hope you guys are still with me. The types of fats commonly found in the Western diet are long-chain saturated fats and trans fats. No bueno, right? They require more bile to be produced, and the unsaturated fats found in nuts and seeds and avocados. So they're more bile than the unsaturated fats. Now, high-fat, low-fiber foods cause the body to produce excess cholesterol to make enough bile to emulsify the fat, but they don't contain enough fiber to bind to the excess cholesterol that your body may be producing. Cholesterol also comes directly from animal products, which adds to the cholesterol or bile that the body has already made to emulsify the saturated fat in the animal products. In summary, the more fat you eat, the more cholesterol your body will make. Cholesterol comes from two places: animal foods and your body. But remember that if you're producing it in your body from plants, it has a fiber, it has enough fiber so it can bind and attach to excess excess cholesterol. Omega-3s also produce HAPI or HDL. So there's so many benefits from that. but I'm willing to talk about this with anybody on the other side if you have a discussion or disagreement with this. Saturated fats and cholesterol, still chatting. On the other hand, low fat and high fiber whole natural plant foods cause the liver to produce less cholesterol to make bile that emulsifies the fat in the foods because it just doesn't need as much. Fresh, raw, and living foods also contain an abundance of fiber so it can mop up or bind to any excess cholesterol, thus keeping cholesterol at an appropriate level. Plant fats are best. Anybody disagree with that? High fat raw plant foods such as avocados and nuts and seeds contain relatively healthy unsaturated fats. And I always say relatively because it depends on you. If you don't have a gallbladder, this is not going to be healthy for you, right? If your liver's not functioning properly, this may not be healthy to you. If you have some allergic responses to nuts and seeds, this will not be healthy for you. So that's why I'm saying relatively. These fats require less bile to emulsify them, so less cholesterol needs to be produced. Keep your cholesterol in a nice healthy range. These high-fat plant foods contain plenty of their own fiber, again, so they bind to the excess cholesterol if your body happens to produce that. They're their own cleanup crew. Let's see, it's moving forward. All right, whew, that was a lot. So we are at the end of our presentation, and you guys, thank you so much for coming. I think at this point we're going to post maybe the Black Veg Society survey. Also, everyone who completes the survey will receive a free 1-year subscription to Vegetarian Journal and an African Plate recipe booklet. Please know these are hard copies, so you might not get it tomorrow or even next week, but I promise you will get it. And then, of course, an essential fatty acid self-evaluation scorecard, because you might need an oil change, and this will tell you what your next steps may be, because awareness is where everything starts. And then I'm going to go to the commercial, which is we have another webinar next month. Food is Medicine, the best hormone balancing nutrients for both men and women. So we hope that you're there. Save the date. So now we're ready for questions, comments.
Yes, yes. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, good. So yeah, we've got Amy asks, is vegetable shortening the same as hydrogenated oil?
Yes.
Plain and simple. All right. And then Sandy from London asked, if vegans are consuming a healthy amount of nutritionally dense foods, why would supplements be necessary?
That's a good question. For a number of reasons. It's actually what you're intaking. So if you're not intaking enough nutrients, then you might have to supplement. So intake is easier to address by just eating more foods that you need to. The second one is it's not what you eat, but what your body digests, absorbs, and the cells see. Many people that I work with, almost 90% of the people that come to me that have nutrient deficiencies, it starts in the gut or in their digestive system. So maybe their stomach doesn't produce enough stomach acid to chelate the minerals, or maybe their liver isn't happy, or the pancreas isn't putting in enough enzymes to help break down the foods. So supplements are temporary fixes. They're there to increase your quality of life and get you up to therapeutic, basically to stop the bleeding while we're working on the root cause and fixing it. So that's why I say supplements second, but food first. Does that answer your question? Oh, but there are some, I will say this, there's a caveat. There are some supplements that unfortunately all of us have to take. Vitamin D is one of them. Simply because of where we live, we don't get out in the sun. We're north of the equator, all kinds of things, right? Some of us don't convert the vitamin D because we don't have enough K. So that's the one area, because it is so important for health, that I don't have an argument with people supplementing all the time. Yes.
Yep. Okay, and then Amy also had a follow-up. Can you tell us more on palm oil? She saw a healthy food label with the claim no palm oil. How do we know if the palm oil is from red palm?
Can't help you there because I don't use the stuff. So I would say This is why it's important when you're buying products that you know the companies that you're purchasing from, right? That's the only way, you can tell the efficacy is just be comfortable with and then you have to ask yourself, and I would ask myself this, what nutrients are there in palm oil that I can get from somewhere else if I have doubts about that, right? Palm oil is 100% saturated fat. So if you're looking to, get some healthy fats, maybe use coconut oil or some other fat. That makes sense. I hope that helped.
Okay, and Sarah asked, avocado oil, good or bad?
Avocado oil, there's good, better, and best. Okay, so avocado oil doesn't have that high smoke thing that we all have to worry about. And it is good because it's good in that it's a healthy fat. It does have high omega-6 fatty acids, right? Because it's avocado oil. So you need to make sure that if you're using avocado oil and you have high omega-6s, that you balance that with some omega-3s during the day to make sure that you have that balance. Also, again, just giving a balanced approach of avocado oil, I'm a big fan of eating the source. So I'm going to get my fat directly from the avocado, not necessarily the oil. But if you're using it for cooking and, because it's for taste, or from you want your product your food to have a certain taste, that's okay too. And then I guess the other thing is oils go rancid, right? So that's good and bad, so you have to balance it. Even though avocado oil is good, it does go rancid pretty quickly. So I hope that helped.
Okay, and then Jacqueline has said her hair and nails break and her cycle is irregular. And with the hormonal imbalance, is it okay to consume soy in milk? She used almond milk, but a lot of products have soy milk.
Jacqueline, you're gonna be mad at me. I'm not a big fan of soy because it's GMO for the most part, and then we tend to overdo soy. So in countries that do use soy, it's clean and it's a limited amount. So we take everything and we do it 400 times the normal requirement, and also because soy, again, GMO, and so that could cause all kinds of problems in the body. Having said that, Jacqueline, I think we need to get to the root cause of your cycle imbalances. It could be that your liver might have a problem. It's not, turning over your estrogen like it should. There could be many things. It could start in the liver. It could start with whatever you're taking. It could be other problems associated with it. And so instead of just going to try things that people say should work, let's find out what's causing the imbalance. There are also tests that you can take. You may have heard of this. There's a Dutch test that will measure your female hormones, including the adrenals, because that can affect it. And it'll tell you what's out of balance, what nutrients may be missing. I love that test. If you want to know more, because this form is not HIPAA compliant and I don't really want to expose you anymore, feel free to reach out to me and let's set up a 20-minute consultation so I can chat with you and maybe move you in a direction that might prove a little bit more fruitful for you. Is that okay?
We've got several comments. Great info. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah. Oh, I understand, as you've explained this really well, Sandy said. Okay. Jackie also said palm oil contributes to deforestation of the rainforest. So if you use that, make sure to get sustainable palm oil. And then Alwar commented that in India, they heard by using palm oil, they used to get jaundice.
Oh, wow. Did not know that. I think all those reasons, and because palm oil doesn't have what I think is anything, it's not a unicorn, that if you're trying to up your omega-3 fatty acids or even your little saturated fat, because a little bit isn't going to hurt you, from plant-based, go for coconut oil. Thank you for that information. Yes, the sustainability issue is a big deal.
Yeah, coconut oil is my favorite.
Yeah.
I cook with it. That's all I put on my skin. That's my favorite.
I think it's wonderful. Do you use the extra virgin or do you not
I
care?
do organic and organic extra virgin.
Very good.
Yeah.
Nice.
See. Yeah.
Ooh, very.
I had my big gallon jug here I was trying to show, but
Oh, your screen was kind of getting in the way of
yeah.
that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yep.
Any other questions that you all want to share or comments? And thank you so much for making this a lively discussion, everyone. I live for this.
I'm gonna start dropping in the various links.
Okay.
I'll start with the YouTube channel.
Okay. Yeah, so any of you if this is your first time visiting us, we do these food as medicine webinars monthly. Some of it is based on feedback we get on the survey. Some of it is just my understanding and knowing based on my clients, what I think would be helpful for you all to know about food as medicine. The whole reason that we do this is to support you in either converting to a vegan or vegetarian lifestyle, or if you're already vegan and vegetarian, to be healthy on that journey. And sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. The body may be telling you things, you're not listening. And I always try to provide you with something that you just can't get on Dr. Oz or Google or anything like that, because you get a little sound bite and you don't get all the perspectives of it. So I try to give a well-rounded perspective. That was my commercial, and now I lost my track. But
Happens. Okay, this next link is the Nordic Natural Algae Omega supplement.
yes. So again, full disclosure, I am an affiliate, so I get a little bit of money from anything that you buy. So I just, my integrity is important to me. So I just want to share that with you. But in exchange, you actually get a product that the efficacy is unquestioned, unchallenged. Fullscript actually, they have a whole team of people that check in on these companies and make sure that the products remain clean. And that's the only reason I joined them, because my clients were going to the local Walmart, no offense, Walmart, if you're listening, and picking up things that were mostly toxic and had heavy metals in it. So again, you can go to the site, you'll have to join, you don't have to buy anything, but you'll have to join as a patient or a client in order to purchase. I want you to go wherever it's clean, but also fits your budget. But I love that product, and it has helped many of my clients.
And I just dropped in the Fullscript direct links as well.
Oh, nice.
While you guys are looking at those, Alwar asked, can you name some other fruits equal to avocado?
Other fruits like fatty fruits? I'm not sure.
Yeah, for the healthy fats.
Olives.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. I enjoy those quite a lot. Yeah, because I'm a big fan, again, keeping things whole, because fiber has a purpose. We talked about it earlier. It mops up all that excess cholesterol if you accidentally took in too much in your diet. So yeah, olives are good.
And is there a particular type of olive? I'm assuming you don't just mean like the canned black olives, or are those beneficial too?
Again, it depends on how they're packaged. Sometimes if they put them in like brine, you just got to check and see. I tend to, last time I purchased some, I purchased from a site, and I'll have to put that in the blog, where they're fresher, cleaner, yeah, that kind of thing. So I don't have a favorite one. I do like, I'm trying to remember the name, like a Kalamata.
Kalamata.
That's it.
Kalamata olives. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cheryl asks, I've recently gone vegan, but I'm not a huge mushroom eater. What
I ain't
else?
mad at you. I ain't mad. What does she need to know?
Well, like so many places will substitute like a mushroom steak or use mushrooms in place of the main meat portion of a meal. What else is there?
So you're looking for something with texture, I assume? So there's really nothing that, to my knowledge, that makes up for that kind of texture that mushrooms have. So you may have to let go of your expectations of having a meat-like something with your meal. Now, having said that, I have clients that that are allergic to mushrooms, and they do cauliflower steaks. Like, they have found a way to prepare it so it has a little meaty texture to it.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. That's become more popular.
Mm,
Cauliflower is out there everywhere right now.
exactly. And
Okay.
congratulations. Stay healthy on their journey, though.
Yeah. Ela asked, what is your opinion on 24-hour? It's typed feasting. I'm assuming she's going to say fasting
Oh, intermittent
regularly.
fasting and time eating. I say that there's definitely some benefit for doing that, and I have done that. I'm also going to say this because I do a balanced approach to things. If you have adrenal issues, some people can't do it. So if you have strong adrenals, you've got a good nutrient profile, meaning you're not deficient in any of the major minerals. Fasting for 24 hours is actually good for resetting, for detoxifying, for giving the digestive system a chance to catch up. Yeah, I'm a big fan. Now, again, we actually did a webinar on intermittent fasting. It's in our on our YouTube channel. So you might want to take a look at that.
And Ela also asked, do we really need 0.7 grams of protein?
0.7?
Well, I think it's 0.7 per pound that you weigh.
Oh.
Is that
So,
how that calculation works?
Yeah, so like everything else, protein, like everything else is individual. You're biochemically different than your neighbor. So if you're a sedentary female, you won't need as much protein as an athletic female. So you have to, you use those guides as a guide, and then you adjust up or down for your unique biochemistry. Having said that too, many of my clients who are vegan, who were scared that they weren't getting enough protein, they were definitely getting enough protein because there's protein in all plants and plant-based foods. What I'm finding is that many of my clients are deficient in minerals. Not protein.
Jackie suggested, try oyster mushrooms fried like chicken. Or air fry if you wish. She says those are so good. And I agree. I love oyster mushrooms.
But she's allergic to mushrooms, I thought.
She just doesn't like mushrooms.
Oh, she doesn't
She's
like.
not a huge mushroom eater.
Oh,
Yes.
You're probably eating something boring like those little white button ones. They're tasteless. So yeah, you might want to up your game. And somebody just offered you that. Yes, I completely forgot about the oyster mushroom, and the crimini is very thick and meaty.
Oh yeah.
Crimini, I think it is.
Crimini,
Yeah.
lion's mane are delicious and so good for us.
Yes.
Yeah.
I see a class coming up. We have a chef and a plant-based educator in our midst. I'm a board member of Black Veg. I didn't disclose that earlier. And she's also a board member, but she teaches classes every Friday. And I'm going to ask her if she could do something on mushrooms if you guys are interested. So follow Black Veg and you perhaps will be able to see our wonderful chef whip up something.
Alexa says, this is my first webinar and I am hooked.
Booked or hooked?
Hooked.
Oh, good, yay! So I hope you're hooked on the content. I hope you're hooked on having great information so you can make decisions that feel right for your body. I hope you're hooked on just the chatter from so many different sources. You don't have to worry about it because now you can just make decisions that make sense for you and not what works for Jane and Joe. You can individualize that. So I'm hooked on you being hooked. So yes.
Exactly. Let's see. Ela said my protein is low, but she doesn't crave it at all. And
what's low? What's
protein?
Low?
Protein. Her protein intake is low, but she doesn't have a craving for it.
Well, let's talk about that. You still want to make sure that you have a certain amount of protein. There may be a reason for it. So you might want to check with let's do it. I'm only offering so many 20-minute consultations. So I think this is number 2. Feel free to reach out for a consultation so we can find out what the root cause is of it. So if you're just not eating enough, that's a whole different story. But if you're eating enough and it's just not going where it needs to go, because you don't have enough digestive enzymes, particularly the stomach as we age. You're probably a young woman, but I'm saying as we age over 40, those digestive enzymes, particularly the stomach acids, tend to decline. And that's where protein is pretty much broken down and for use in the body. So I know it was probably more information than you wanted to know after sharing that with me. Having said that, I applaud you for listening to your body.
Yeah, she's not craving it.
Mm-hmm.
Jacqueline says, I can't digest meat. I do mushrooms more often, but I can't control my craving for sweets.
Yeah, you're not alone. There's like 99% of us in this room that probably have issues with sweets. So you know what? It's not your fault. It's designed, particularly if you're eating other than, fruit sugar and all that. If you're eating sugar in processed food, processed sugar is one compound away from cocaine, no joke. And so chemically, it's designed to keep you hooked. And so the way that you reduce the addiction is because you can't just stop all of a sudden, is to upgrade your plate. So maybe instead of doing processed sugar, you do like date sugar, you know what I mean? Until your body can have a normal reaction. So that's one way that you can address that. The other way is you may have a sugar imbalance. I'm not saying you're diabetic because I'm not here to treat, diagnose, or cure, but you may have some sort of sugar imbalance, and that may need to be addressed before the cravings will go away.
Yeah.
All right.
Alvar asks, she's allergic to mushrooms. Instead of mushrooms, is there an equal vegetable that she can eat?
Well, it depends on what you mean by equal. Equal in taste, texture, nutrients. Tell us more.
Here, let me unmute you, Alvar. Whoops. Well,
yes.
Yeah. Oh, there she is.
Okay.
No. Half சொல்றாங்க.
Half an hour.
இல்ல half நீ இல்லையா லைன்ல இல்லையா?
Oh.
Alvar, can you hear us?
Yeah, I didn't hear. Can you repeat? Yeah.
Yes. What instead of mushrooms, since you can't eat those, what are you looking for?
Yeah.
Taste, texture, nutrients.
Any other vegetables equal to mushroom?
Equal for texture or equal for nutrients?
Nutrients.
Equal for nutrients.
So what nutrients do you think are in the mushrooms?
In the mushroom,
mutton mushroom. Hello?
My suggestion really, and I'm going to help you out here, is if you go to a site called the World's Healthiest Foods, and the World's Healthiest Foods, you can put in mushroom, or you can put in whatever the nutrient is that you want, and it'll tell you by the amount of nutrient in the food, what foods have the nutrient that you need, or it'll also tell you what's in mushrooms. World's Healthiest Foods. .org. And I hope that was helpful to you.
It's this program is very helpful.
This program is very helpful to me.
Oh, thank you. And where are you coming in from?
I am coming from India.
You are actually coming from India. Oh my word. Well, thank you so much. I take nothing for granted, and I'm so glad we have an international community here, and that we have a platform to bring us all closer. Thank you.
That's more appreciated.
That is more appreciated.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, let's see.
Jackfruit on them.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. We have a lot of thank yous and very happy to get this information.
Oh, thank you. Well, I appreciate each and every one of you. I don't take for granted. You could have spent this time doing anything. So I applaud you for being here and taking advantage of this information. Jamie, thank you so much for being our wonderful people wrangler.
Oh, you're welcome.
You might want to, if you want to, put the Black Veg email address, so that if they have some questions, they can go directly to you. And then if it's something I need to address, you can forward it on to me, since my address decided to do like my computer today and take a little vacation, my email address. So we still have a little bit of time. I
Yeah.
won't be any longer. Go ahead.
We
Mhm.
have another comment, couple comments. Jackfruit is
Love it.
often substituted for meat, and I can testify, I just had it recently the first time as a barbecue and could not tell the difference.
Oh my gosh. See, this is why I love this community. Right. I completely forgot about that. I tend to eat my foods, not shaming anybody. I tend to eat my foods pretty much like the way they come. And I forget about some of the other ways that we have learned to process healthy food, like jackfruit. I love jackfruit. So thank you for sharing that. Wow, wow. People are going to be blessed when they hear this recording. All this good information.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. We have, another comment. I heard baby milk is very low in protein, only 6%, but they grow like crazy. And Ela, I'm assuming you're talking about formula and not breast milk. Let me find Ela. We can get a quick clarification. There we go. Ela, are you there? Hold on a second here. Try it right there. Unmute. Can you, it's not letting me unmute her.
Uh-oh. Let me see. Let me see if I can do it.
Hello, yes, I'm here.
Ah, there
Sorry.
she is.
I'm in mute myself.
Oh, there you go.
Hello. Yes, I actually meant breast milk.
Breast milk is really high in fat, but it's all good fats for the baby's brain and growth and development.
Agreed.
Okay. But I had this very low in protein, and then I think it's a massive obsession about eat lots of protein now.
Yeah.
So kind of like confused about it because I don't think so. I eat enough, but I kind of don't crave it, strangely.
Well, are you mean craving protein? Because that's not something I understand. Or you mean craving animal products?
No. I'm vegan for like 5 years.
Oh, okay.
And my diet is pretty like vegan. Like I try to be as raw as possible.
Oh, good. Okay.
I only eat like twice cooked food. I mean, like I have this rye bread, very dark rye bread toast with some nut butter, some bananas, and in the evening I have only cooked food. So like maybe some sort of cooked vegetables and pulses. And actually that's only my kind of intake of protein really. So kind of the nut butter and then the pulses. But it's only like a half a cup. And then during the days, maybe the milk I made from hemps, that's obviously protein as well.
Yeah.
But then I used to have a kind of like when I work out a lot, I used to have like a massive craving for protein and I don't have it anymore.
Okay.
Some kind of like concern really, but I don't know.
Well, there are a couple of things that could be going on. Again, I don't treat, diagnose, or cure, and I don't know you as a person, so I'm just throwing some possibilities out there. It sounds like you're curious about your protein, whether or not it's sufficient for you to maintain good health. There are a couple of things you can do. One exactly that I know about. There's this little app called Chronometer or Chronometer. I think I may be pronouncing it wrong, and I've used
I
that.
think so. I know what you mean. Yes.
Yeah, so what I've had my clients do, because I am not a registered dietitian, the licensed, state of Maryland is really funny about that kind of stuff. So I can't tell you what amount of protein to get, but I can send you to that site and you can see for yourself what you're getting versus what the industry standard, and the industry average doesn't mean that you need to have it. And then the other thing you can do is, gosh, I don't know. We have to get that to you. I always give out nutrient assessment charts, and it'll give you an idea of the amino acids because it's the amino acids that you want, not the protein, but you want to make sure you have sufficient amino acids. So when you go to the Chronometer, it should break down that protein into amino acids. You want to make sure you're getting the essential, the 8 essential out of the 23.
I understand. I tried the My Fitness Pal, and I always below the kind of requirement, the protein. Obviously, they don't actually calculate the amino acid as you said. So yeah.
And really, you have to go by how you're feeling, how's your muscle tone, how's your hair growth, nail growth. Yeah, so those are
Oh,
things.
that's okay. The muscle grows because I try to do this calisthenic things. No, yeah, calisthenics? No, calisthenic. This body weight exercise. What's this
Strength
called?
training. It
Yeah.
sounds like you're okay. Just, it's always good to double check. And here's another thing. Now, it's expensive. If you're really, really concerned, there's this company called SpectraCell, and I do this every 2 or 3 years myself, is that they will do a nutrient assessment, right, of your body and let you know where you are, because it's not necessarily, it's not like a regular blood test that will tell you based on the way your organs and hormones and glands are functioning, you probably are missing this nutrient. It really
do myself because I'm a scientist, so the blood
Oh,
test.
okay. SpectraCell is your jam then.
It's like, that would be kind of like, like how's your body functioning? And I'm assuming it would be paid, you know what I mean?
Yes,
So
yes. And I like SpectraCell as a company. They're yeah, I like their service. Okay.
I'm kind of like, concerned about this protein, because actually I was just talking to somebody, and then they kind of said, oh, they find this correlation between overeating protein with this protein end up in a brain as a kind of like a hard tissue, and then creating Alzheimer thing,
I'm going to say this very quickly about the protein, and this is general, is that, overeating protein is not really good, because it can, there's a process that happens when you overeat where it will convert to sugar. And so you'll end up with issues that occur in the body as if you were eating a lot of sugar. So, and also it's hard on the kidneys. There's a lot of reasons not to overeat protein, but there's a lot of reasons not to overeat a lot of stuff, right? You always want to make sure you have good balance in the body. I hope that was helpful to you. And again, I don't know you all and so when we're talking, I just want everybody to hear this. This is general. I don't know you as a person. I don't want you to go out there trying stuff. I want you to, do your due diligence, talk to your primary care or whoever you need to talk to, do some research so that the decision you make makes sense. It's based on something that not let me stick it against the wall and see if it works. Okay. Keep safe. I want you to be safe.
And Ela, you are absolutely right. Protein only makes up 1.1% of the content of breast milk.
Oh, thank you.
Very small percentage. Yeah, I looked it up. I'm a huge breast milk proponent. And
absolutely, me too. I have no children, but the minute I'm gonna have them, it's like if somebody come to me and to them with any animal product or to any formula, I will probably mad at them. So
yeah.
And I'm a Similac baby, and I had digestive issues because of it, because I didn't get that good colostrum. I didn't get my my microbiome established from my mom's breast milk.
Yep. Well, and breast milk is based on whey protein, where formulas are casein protein, which are two different things, and it's very difficult for the body to digest.
Yes,
absolutely. It's the same kind of like idea about us human taking the cow's milk, isn't it? Yeah. So
very, very similar ideas. Yeah. Jackie,
the particles are very difficult to digest, isn't it? From cow's milk. That's what I heard.
The lactose, there are a lot of people that are lactose intolerant.
Yes.
And the particles are kind of like bigger than kind of like other milks. I mean, like I don't know, I heard something about the cow's milk particles. They're very huge, and that's why it's difficult for them to digest.
I love you. You're a scientist. I thank you for sharing all that. So it seems like, okay, here's what I like to say. I like to balance science with what's happening in your body. Like the science says this, and my body is like coughing up mucus. This may not be good for me. So thank you for sharing that. Do we have anybody else that wants to chat? Because we don't have a lot of time left.
We have a quick comment from Jackie that when you get the jackfruit, you get it canned, unless you know how to prepare the whole fruit. Most people use the canned jackfruit as the meat substitute. And then Alvar asked, how long should you fast if you're going to do intermittent fasting?
Well, again, that's an individual thing. So I tell my clients to start on the shallow end of the pool. So the easiest way, obviously, is the natural intermittent fasting that you do between the last meal you ate the night before and the meal the next day. Now, for some people, that's a solid 12. Some people it's a solid 8. I don't know. But to get the benefits of intermittent fasting, you want to get up to about 16 hours. So you can get there 1 hour at a time or 1/2 hour at a time. Just see how your body responds to get up to that 16 hour. That's the easiest way I've seen my clients come do intermittent fasting. And don't forget, go to our YouTube channel. We did a whole webinar on it.
Yeah, I'm going to post that YouTube channel link one more time.
And
let's see, where did I put it? Oh, it's right here.
We're at 3:17, so I want to honor people. If you need to go ahead, and we're only going to be on for another couple minutes to, and if there's some questions that we didn't get, this is what we typically do, is we take them, put them on a little form, and then I respond to them in the blog.
Yeah, and I think we got to everybody's questions today. I'm scrolling back through real quick. I put the link for Tony's website up, and you can go to her website to learn more about her, what she does, and to book a consultation.
Thank you. And I always start with a free one because I want to make sure that, but I have very limited sessions. I only do 5. So the first 5 to get in, you're in for the free. And free consultation really is just to learn more about you and what you need and whether or not my services will support you. And if I can't support you, then I always have resources I can send you to. But nobody comes and leaves empty-handed or empty-hearted. So
absolutely. I'm going to post one more time the link for the survey.
Please, please, please do that for us. I really love what I do, and I want to make sure that I am providing what you want and what you need. So we rely on algorithms because we have professionals that do that, but I rely on you all too. So if there's something, a subject matter that you want us to talk about, let us know. Wow, I don't know about y'all, but this was all kinds of fun. We're going to do it again next month. I hope you come, bring a friend, we'll make it a party. We're going to talk about the best hormone balancing nutrients for women and men. I think some will surprise you. So bring your men folk too.
Absolutely.
Anything else with that? Well, with that, I'm going to sign off. Wish you all the very best in your journey to eating well and being well. If you have any questions, Jamie, I'm sorry, it might blow up your email. Jamie's your girl.
Okay.
All right,
Absolutely.
everyone.
Many thanks to everyone.
All right.
Have a great Saturday.
Bye-bye. See if I can find a way to end. There we go.